All right, folks, good evening. And it's a pleasure to be here. It is 8:24 p.m. Eastern Time. And here in Delaware, of course. Welcome to this exclusive interview, one-on-one that I'm going to be having with the Honorable Mayor of the great city of Brooklyn Park, Minnesota. Many of you who follow our platform do know where Brooklyn Park is. And it is a beautiful city in the great state of Minnesota, which is home to approximately 15,000 Liberians. And so this makes Brooklyn Park a very important city to us as Liberians in the United States and Liberians in general, wherever you are. So welcome to those of you watching and those of you who will join us. We're streaming live on Facebook across multiple platforms and of course on YouTube as well. This evening's exclusive interview will be with none other but the Honorable Mayor of the city of Brooklyn Park, Mayor Lisa Jacobson. She's our guest, and the conversation will center exclusively around who she is as a person and why she entered politics to serve, of course, ultimately, which she's done very, very well. We will also take a journey down her. She will wrap on her accomplishments as mayor and as a public servant to the city of Brooklyn Park over the years. And of course, we will touch on her decision to retire from politics and the reasons behind that decision to retire, which came as a surprise to many people, considering that she still has time left on her tenure. And then, of course, we will be asking her whether she's going to be backing someone to succeed her in the upcoming mayoral election. So basically, that's what the conversation is going to be about. So shortly, we will take her. But before we do, I'm going to just read for you her retirement statement, which she put out a few weeks ago. Almost 25 years ago to the day, I began my journey of community service in Brooklyn Park. This journey has taken me from a seat on the Recreation and Parks Commission to a staff position at City Hall, to a member of numerous Brooklyn Park civic groups, to board positions, to volunteering in the schools, to leading concession stands with a local swim team, and more. I served alongside my children, my husband, and my friends. During my time as a public servant, I have met some of the most incredible people, received guidance of wise leaders, and had the honor of working with many of the most dedicated community members, professionals, and business owners in the world. Sharing important moments with the people I serve has been the high point of my public career. I have been deeply touched by your tireless support alongside me for this community over the years, just as I am deeply honored by the trust and faith you have placed in me to represent you. But just as every journey has a beginning, so too does it have an end. I'm announcing today that I will not be seeking re-election for a second term as mayor of the city of Brooklyn Park. I'm officially retiring from politics after 6 years on the city council to focus on my family, my career, and my business. It is time to rest and surround myself with the benefits of a life well lived and earned honorably in the service of my fellow citizens. During this journey, I have had the pleasure of raising two amazing children and been a stepmom to five. I have been blessed with a grandchild whom I adore. I now look forward to spending more time with them and watching them flourish in their lives. It is also a chance for me and my husband, John, to enjoy our lives together. But this is not the end. I will continue to be your voice at City Hall until the end of this year, and I am determined to make the most of that time, working hard for you each and every day as I do now. After that, there are certainly other pages left to write in my life and other challenges I would like to take on beyond the halls of government. As Robert Frost wrote, quote, there are miles to go before I sleep, unquote. I believe deeply in the innate goodness of our community and of our people, and I will continue in my dedication to Brooklyn Park. It has been a distinct honor and a true privilege to serve all of you. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening to this exclusive interview. I am now going to bring in our Honorable Mayor of the City of Brooklyn Park, Mayor Lisa Jacobson. Good evening, Mayor.
Good evening.
Very good to have you. Very good to have you.
Great to be here.
We want to thank you for taking time out of your beautiful Tuesday evening to be here with us to speak to our people. And I'm really honored to be playing host to you.
Honored to be here as well, Henry. Thank you.
So Mayor, tell us a little bit about yourself. Of course, we've seen here that you're a mother, your stepmom, your grandmother, but a little more than what I just read would be most appreciated.
Yeah, so thank you. I've lived my life here in Minnesota, was born and raised here, went to college here. Haven't, I travel, but I've never actually left the country. So I have never been to West Africa, for example. I hope to. I have spent the majority of my life working in nonprofits and really in small nonprofits. And my role has been in the areas of fundraising and marketing and in leadership. So I currently, one thing that people don't typically know is that the mayor of Brooklyn Park is not a full-time job. So I have to have a full-time job. Mm-hmm. And so I serve as the president and CEO of a foundation that actually puts on the largest festival in the country that is in the wintertime, outside in the snow and the cold. So that's what I do for my full-time job. I've spent my life, though, serving the community in every way imaginable. And I love Brooklyn Park. I'm not a politician, and I have no interest in politics and running for some other office. That's not why I did this. And so to know me is to know that I've had a lot of life experience, good and bad. And I like to use that experience to help other people.
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor. You've been involved with community service in Brooklyn Park for 25 years, a quarter of a century. What piqued your interest in community service?
Actually, I started volunteering in my own community where I was born when I was 12 years old. And my mom, who was not a volunteer, never volunteered, she dropped me off at the local hospital and told me I was going to be a volunteer. I think she just wanted me out of the house. So I really caught the bug of serving others when I was 12 years old. And I haven't stopped ever since. My time in Brooklyn Park, I moved here. I lived in the Willows apartments when they were brand new. And it was a hard time in my life. I was a victim of domestic violence by my boyfriend, who then became my husband, who then became my ex-husband. And so those life experiences then led me to volunteer to help victims of domestic violence. I've also volunteered, obviously for my kids, different activities and things like that. But I care very much about people, struggling people, whether that be food insecurity or, youth. The majority of the nonprofits that I've worked in have been youth focused, youth who are in trouble, youth who are suicidal, who cut on themselves, who are drug addicts, who, end up in the wrong taking the wrong path in life and needing other adults who can help them get back on the right path to success.
Thank you very much. That is incredible. And thanks for sharing the courage to share with your experience with domestic violence. Thank you very much. Madam Mayor, over these many years, you've contributed tremendously to various aspects of the community. But let's focus primarily on your time at City Hall. You've been there a total of about 6 years now. You've been on the city council, and then you won the mayoral election, of course, by very you were able to build a coalition of the diverse, demographic of the city, and you've done some great things, I'm told. And do you care to just tell us some of the highlights of your accomplishments as a city council member and as mayor?
Well, I don't take credit for things. We are a team. We work together. I can't do anything as a council member or a mayor by myself. You need 4 votes to pass anything. You need consensus. And so it's important that we each do our homework for every vote, that we ask questions, that we talk to people who are affected by our decision, that we listen and become the microphone for the people that we represent. We need to cast a vote. We need to say yes or no in the end, because when we don't, we're basically telling the people who we represent that they don't get a voice. And so it's important. I will tell you, in my almost 6 years of being on the council, I've missed 1 meeting, and that's because I was in the hospital.
Understandable.
But I'm very committed. Yeah, I'm very committed to the job and to making sure if I'm not there, then the people I represent they're not there either. That's how I see it.
That's very, very important. Ma'am, give us an idea for those who don't know. Brooklyn Park, the city of Brooklyn Park is the 6th largest city in the state of Minnesota. Mm-hmm. But let's talk about things like, just so people can understand the sheer size of that city. Let's talk about, for example, what's your budget? What's the size of your budget? And how many people are you responsible for in total? How many residents are there?
Well, let me say there's about 85,000 residents. Our budget's right about $50 million. Majority of that is spent on people, employees, which, we have several hundred employees, both full-time and part-time. We are the 4th largest city in the metro area of Minnesota. So you hear of Minneapolis and St. Paul, Bloomington, which is where the Mall of America is, and then Brooklyn Park. So, we're a big contender. We've got a lot going on with a lot of people. But we're also 61% diverse. I'm the minority in my city.
That is a beautiful thing. You are a minority in your city. It's a beautiful thing, very diverse. Now that's going to take me to how you were able to build that coalition to elect you. How were you able to do that? Being a minority and all.
Right. So I've been in the community a very long time, and I've been showing up and doing the work for a very long time. I taught my kids that you build your own reputation. And if you are always late, that's going to be your reputation. My husband, that's kind of his reputation. And so you want to build your reputation around the things that you truly aspire to be. For me, I want people to know that I'm committed. When I tell you I'm going to do something, I do it. If you need something, I may not be able to give you what you need, but I most likely can connect you to someone who can. And I'll give you an example. When Kamati Dion, who is the executive director of the Organization of Liberians in Minnesota, where I'm very connected and have been volunteering and helping for years, calls me up and says, we want to give away 200 turkeys for Thanksgiving. Now, I don't have 200 turkeys, but I knew a guy who did. You know that whole saying, I know a guy, right?
Yeah.
And so they had their turkeys, and they got them for Christmas as well. So now he has that relationship, and he never has to ask me for turkeys again, because now he can just call Josh and get the turkeys. So for me, it's all about making those connections for good.
In the service of the people.
Exactly. And so I can't do it all, but you can get a lot done by knowing a lot of different people. So when I went to run for mayor, just like I had done when I ran for council, is I activated the people that I knew and trusted. One of the things I learned from some very wise former elected people was that no one was going to actually care about my campaign more than me and my husband. That endorsements really don't matter, because the only thing I needed to get was the endorsement of the person who was going to cast a vote at their door. I needed to introduce myself, talk to them, share my vision, and the more people that I could meet and do that with, the better chance I had. It's hard when you're working full time and you have to race out of work to go and knock on as many doors as you can. But when you stay committed, and even on the days when you want to give up, those are the days you absolutely can't give up. But then it's counting on others. I know that some of my Liberian friends were driving Liberian elders to vote. When I won by such a narrow margin, when I won by 2 votes, I told them if one of them had decided on a day not to do that, I would not have won. So every vote matters.
I couldn't agree more with you, ma'am. Every vote matters. Folks, if you're just joining us, welcome. This is an exclusive. I know many of you, thousands of you, will watch this interview later on YouTube and on Facebook across multiple platforms. Good evening to you and welcome. We're in conversation with the mayor of the city of Brooklyn Park. She's Mayor Lisa Jacobson. She's a great friend of the Liberian community in Minnesota and every other community, as a matter of fact. She is retiring, even though she still has time left on this tenure, and she could run for re-election, but she decided to retire, step aside from politics. But she will continue to remain at City Hall until the end of this until the end of this year. Madam Mayor, you're going to be still involved somehow in Brooklyn Park life. In particular, are you going to be supporting someone for mayor to succeed you?
Yes, the filing period is still going on. And so, there have only been a few people that have filed, but I have a strong belief that to be the mayor of a city of this size, you absolutely have to have been on the city council first. And when I look at who is on the city council now, who is interested in running for mayor, and then who would do a good job of being the mayor, there's only one choice, and that is Councilmember Winfred Russell. And so he will have my support. I told him, no one's going to care about this more than you, Winfred, but I will.
Yeah, so take it and run with it.
He's got to work harder than anybody else, but I will certainly do what I can.
That is incredible. Winfred Russell is your pick, is your choice. And you said something. In order to successfully run a city the size of Brooklyn Park, you have to be someone who knows the ins and the outs. You have to be someone who sits at city council. You have to be privy to how the city works from the inside. Someone who would hit the ground running on day one. And you couldn't think of anyone else other than Winfred Russell, who's already sitting on the city council representing the West District. That is fantastic.
Yes,
that is
absolutely.
Fantastic. Now, ma'am, I want to say this. Your endorsement and support for Winfred Russell does carry a lot of weight. It means a lot because you've won, several elections, city council member as well as mayoral election. So you know what you're doing, and you're currently in the job, and you know what's required to do the job. And Winfred Russell is the president. I'm told Winfred Russell didn't expect that you would be supporting him. Is that true? Did he solicit your support, or did he reach out, or how did you arrive at his decision to support
I
Winfred
think
Russell?
that he was shocked that I wasn't running for re-election.
Everyone was shocked. I mean,
right.
Because they all think you're doing such a great job.
Well, they say, go out when you're doing a great job, right?
Yeah. That's when you buy out. When this crowd is still,
yeah, exactly,
cheering you on. And saying, encore.
Right. I will say that as a person gets older, they start to assess kind of what they've done in their life, what is their legacy, and what do they still want to do. And I've had to set things aside in my life because of my service to my community. And there's still things that I want to do. And I'm not getting any younger. And if I did the math and I add 4 more years to my life, I'll be 61 years old in 4 more years. And I don't want to be 61 years old and then start to do the things that I still want to do. So it was not an easy decision, but I knew that I needed to make the decision and then make a decision on who I would support, because it's critically important that the right person take my seat rather than someone who is ill-equipped, not the right person for the seat, which can very easily happen. You see it all the time. And I don't want that.
And you care deeply about the city. You care deeply about the community. So the only reason why you're even in this position is because of how connected you are and how much you care. And so clearly it makes sense. It's understandable that now that you're stepping back from that role, you would naturally be very concerned as to who succeeds you, so that the city is cared for as you would do it yourself. So it's quite understandable. So you think Winfred Russell, and of course I couldn't agree more with you with your decision, your pick for successor. I think Councilman Russell would do a fantastic job. Ma'am, we want to thank you. We're not going to hold you too long. It's been a beautiful interview. As I said, many thousands of people will watch it later. Many of them in your own city, folks. If you're in Brooklyn,
I have to point out, a couple of them are talking about how young I look and that I look 40. I love you.
Yeah, they say you look like you're 40, and I couldn't agree more.
No, I'm not 40. I don't even remember being 40.
That is a compliment, of course, folks. If you're watching, of course, this is interactive. If you are a resident of the city of Brooklyn Park and you want to say shout out to the honorable mayor before we take leave of her this evening, you may do so. So of course, she's reading your comments. And you're welcome to do so. But we're not going to hold her too long. Madam Mayor, we thank you very, very much. And I look forward to attending that retirement party. I presume you're going to be having one.
Yeah,
I look for.
I'm not going to call it a retirement party.
Okay, what are you going to call
But
it?
I don't know, just a
Stepping
party.
back party.
A
Yeah,
dance
what
party.
we wouldn't use the word retirement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well, ma'am, I want to say thank you very, very much, and please give us your parting comments.
yeah, I just want to say that it's been truly my honor to serve my community in so many ways, and to, you know, I never really thought that I would become the mayor. For many years, I've actually been on the committee that has put on the mayor's prayer breakfast. And I never imagined that I would be the mayor of that prayer breakfast. And I got to do that this past fall.
Mm.
I do believe that we all get placed in roles in our life for a reason at a time when it's appropriate. And, you know, I don't know if you know Esther in the Bible, but the
story of
line
Esther.
about, perhaps you were made for a time like this. You know, this is not an easy time right now in Minnesota, in our community. And kind of who I am is I try to bring people together. I don't really care what you look like, where you come from, what you've gone through. I care, but it doesn't, I want everybody to come together. I want everybody to learn about one another. And I work really hard to make that happen every day. And I want to still be a part of that work. That isn't going to change just because I'm not the mayor. I'll always be the 13th mayor of the city of Brooklyn Park, and I will proudly always be that. And so I'm not going away. You know, my term is until December 31st of 2022, and I will not take my foot off the gas until that day. And, you know, hopefully we'll be, you know, electing the right person to take my spot and to continue on bringing people together. I think someone who isn't out to hurt people is who we need. You know, someone who isn't doing bad things to people is someone we need. And Winfred Russell is that guy. So we just have to work, all of you who know people in Brooklyn Park, even if you are in Liberia. It's very important that August 9th is the primary, and that's phase 1. He's got to get through that.
They gotta get out the vote. Mm-hmm.
And then to election day, and then to election day in November. So it's critically important that everyone vote. As I said, I won by 1 vote, and then I gained a vote in the recount. So I won by 2 votes. And I had so many people tell me it was their vote that I won by. And I love that so much. I had a 97-year-old Kenyan woman who was driven to the polls to vote for me by her daughter. That was her vote. I love every story that I heard about people claiming it was their vote, and they're not wrong.
Every single vote took you that. True.
It was their vote. So
true. Madam Mayor, I have all these comments here. I'm just going to read a few of them. Thanking you, congratulating you, many of them from the city of Brooklyn Park and from other places. Lena West says, thank you for being there for BP and the citizens. Well done, Miss. Debe Alfonso Cully says, congratulations. David Cindy says, I'm so proud of your achievements. Joe Moba Kolibo says, thank Malopu. I don't know who he's calling. Maybe that's his Liberian name for you. Joko Bestman said, thanks for serving your people, ma'am. Yeple Sumo says, thank God for your life and being a child of Jesus. Afala Taylor says, thank you for your service. Augustine Jule Napla says, thanks for serving Mayor Lisa Jacobson. Obito Tamba, thanks for serving your community. Drew Seaton Davis says, bless you. Linda West again, congratulations, Miss. You've done justice to BP. Augustine Julia Napla says again, we love you. Beatrice Dang Bedi says, thank you. And Rahim Chuku Kamara says, watching from Coons Rapid. Anoka, she's beautiful and a good woman. Levi Titus Daniel says, thanks for your service. I wish you well in your future endeavors, and so on and so forth. I could just go on and go on and go on and so forth. Drew Seaton Davis said, you make me want to move to Brooklyn Park, Minnesota. I'm in Jersey. Well, ma'am, I want to say thank you very, very much for
Thank
your
you,
time
Henry.
this evening to speak with us. I want to join the viewers to say we thank you for your service to the people of Brooklyn Park, and we wish you God's choicest blessings,
Thank
and
you.
we wish you best of luck on your future endeavors, and we look forward to seeing you continue to be engaged with the people of Brooklyn Park. Thank you so much, and
Thank
thanks
you
for
so much. Thank you. Have a good
all
night.
right, all right, ma'am. Good night. Bye. Well, folks, there you have it. That was the mayor of Brooklyn Park City. It is a very important city. They have 85,000 people who call themselves residents of Brooklyn Park City. It has a $50 million budget. She is the mayor, and she is an incredible woman and an incredible public servant. But she's decided to step aside. And she said, I cannot think of anyone more qualified, better suited than Winfrey Russell, who currently sits on that council with her. And that's the man she's endorsed. He's our own man. We will have Winfrey Russell on this platform next week. Now, just because she has endorsed him, and just because the immediate past mayor, Jeffrey Lundy, has endorsed Winfrey Russell to become the next mayor of Brooklyn Park City, does not mean Winfrey Russell has this in the bag. We have to work together to make this happen. All of us. You heard her. A 97-year-old Kenyan woman was driven on election day to a voting booth to cast her ballot for her. A 97-year-old Kenyan woman. She's white, but a 97-year-old black Kenyan woman went and voted for her to help her become mayor. So we can do it. 15,000 Liberians call Brooklyn Park their home. Most of them can vote. And we can make this happen. We can build a coalition of Somalis, Liberians, whites, a broad coalition encompassing the entire diverse demographic of the city of Brooklyn Park. Let's do this. Let's make this happen. Winfrey Russell being endorsed by this woman is an incredible thing, and we thank her for it. However, had she not come to know and respect Winfrey Russell as a great public servant and someone who deeply cares about the community, she would not be supporting him. She decided to support him because she cares deeply for the city of Brooklyn Park, and she wants it left in safe hands, in good hands, in trusted hands. And those hands are none other but Winfrey Russell's. That is the man we're going to be supporting. We will raise money for him, and we will make history as we did several years ago by making him the first black man to be elected to sit on that city council. We're going to make history again to make him the first black man to be elected mayor of the city of Brooklyn Park. Thank you so much, folks. I would think that would be a first. I'm not too sure. I'm not going to say 100%, but I would assume that he will be the first. So we're going to have Councilman Russell here next week. We're going to be interviewing him on the Costa Show, of course, which many thousands of people in Brooklyn Park and other parts of the U.S. and Liberia watch and listen to. Have yourselves a beautiful evening. I'm going to go watch the game between the Boston Celtics and the Miami Heat in the NBA playoffs. My friend David Giflaw, shout out to you. I look forward to seeing you on the 11th of June. I'm coming back to Minnesota. We will be going from door to door. We'll be knocking on some doors. The primary is on the 9th of August. We're going to be making a lot of noise about this. We're going to get out there, vote in the primary, and then, of course, the actual election will be in November of this year. God bless you all and have yourselves a beautiful day. Bye-bye. Beautiful evening, of course.